movie.
Yeah, I still haven't seen it. How was it?
The Barbie movie was what you'd expect of a Barbie movie, but I'm gonna have to disagree with a lot of people, a lot of the men who are saying that it was like a man bashing film. It wasn't a man bashing film in that sense. The film seemed more like of women airing out their grievances film on society, and then they bash men every so often. But that's just to throw red meat to like the fan base, some of the fan base, like the feminist fan base, the man hating part of the feminist fan base. But one thing I like about the movie, they in the beginning of the movie, you ever seen 2001: A Space Odyssey? It's fine, no. So in 2001: A Space Odyssey, they're showing monkeys, right? Like prehistoric monkeys in the beginning of the movie in 2001: Space Odyssey, and then this giant monolith, probably like an extraterrestrial monolith, shows up. Then the monkeys touch it, and somehow it opens up their mind. That they're like, wait a minute, we could do so much more as a species.
Yeah.
And then that's the evolution of humans and stuff like that. In the Barbie, they opened up with a similar thing where it was little girls playing with dolls, but not Barbie dolls, but like baby dolls. Where it was like, oh, is society preparing women to become mothers and stuff like that? Until like a giant monolith of like a giant Barbie monolith came, and the little girls, they touched it and they were like, wait, we could be more than just mothers type of deal. And that supposedly started the revolution of womanhood and stuff like that.
Got it.
That was pretty interesting. That was a pretty interesting concept.
Yeah, I've only seen the highlights of the movie, and I had a discussion with a sibling of mine, and we were talking about it, and she kind of told me like I guess I don't want to ruin it for people that haven't watched it.
Spoilers ahead. Go ahead.
Yeah, screw it.
Spoilers ahead.
What she told me, and you tell me if this is right or wrong, because I haven't seen the movie, but I took her that person's word for it. The person basically told me that the point of the movie is that at the end, I guess Ken goes back. They both go back to their world or whatever. And is it the goal of the movie that men and women together are better? Is that it?
Yeah, but it's more like it's not Barbie and Ken. It's Barbie and it's Ken.
Oh, so Ken's living in Barbie's world.
Yeah, but it's more of a appreciation for the individualistic aspect of each of them.
Oh, okay, so both.
That's what it sounded like to me at the end of the movie. Now somebody else might come in here and say, well, actually no, but that's what it looked like. It looked more of the fact of like, look, it's Barbie and it's Ken. It doesn't have to be Barbie and Ken type of deal. It doesn't have to be you attached to me. It could be me and it could be you, and we could complement each other.
Got it.
That's what it seemed like to me. I was going into that movie fully prepared to be lectured as a man. I went with my wife. I was going in there fully prepared to be lectured of, oh, the patriarchy this and the patriarchy that and the patriarchy and the patriarchy and the patriarchy and blah, blah, blah. And they throw those words around, but it seems like it was just women just airing out grievances. I don't want to say women complaining, because who knows? I don't know. I'm not a woman. I don't know what they go through, but it seemed like it was just women airing out their grievances. You know what I mean? One thing about the movie that I found super interesting, right? So Barbie revolutionized, I guess, women in that era in a way that made them seem like, hey, we don't have to be just moms. We could be astronauts, we could be bankers, we could be presidents, blah, blah, blah. They have a Barbie version for all that stuff, right?
Oh, okay.
At that time, it was probably revolutionary an idea. Like, oh, you're making dolls for women and girls. That's more than just mom. There was a part of the movie where Barbie, she's in the real world and she meets a little girl, one of those brooding, emo-looking type chicks. Those teenager girls, right?
Yeah.
She goes to Barbie and she's like, you set the feminist movement back 50 years with your unrealistic body images and stuff like that, blah, 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 blah. And then Barbie's talking to her. She's like, no, what are you talking about? I empowered women. I showed them like, if this is this. And it was interesting that it showed a disconnect between the current generation of women and the previous generation of women.
Wow.
Where when the Barbie came out, it was revolutionary and it wasn't a way to, I'm assuming in their head, to push women's movements forward, letting them know they could be anything. But this generation now looks at that generation as the purveyors of unrealistic body standards, when they probably weren't even thinking about that. Their focus was just putting women in positions that men could be in, like astronauts. So, it was incredible to see that generational gap.
Do you think it's really unrealistic standards? Or?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
I mean, proportionate wise, obviously you're not gonna look like that, but
yeah.
Look, man, one thing about men, we look at at like jack dudes in the cartoons, like
Yeah.
Goku. There's a meme going around where you see like Goku standing jacked up, and you see a whole
Yeah.
bunch of men like, bro, that's totally me, bro.
Yeah.
And men look at guys who are built and jacked. We
Yeah.
we don't say. I have never ever heard a man say, that's unrealistic body standards. You know what they say instead? They're like, freak, man, I gotta go to the gym.
Yeah.
I gotta eat better. Like, good. It's supposed to make you feel like you
Motivate you.
Yeah, it's supposed to make you feel like you're not doing enough, so you can keep pushing forward. Always been okay with that to a healthy extent. But I don't think the whole thing about unrealistic body standards. Yeah, some models might have unrealistic body standards in terms of like photoshopping and stuff like that. But I think a lot of people use that as a way to get out of going to the gym.
Yeah,
Like, bro,
pretty
go to the
much.
gym. Go to the gym. Like, I understand that some of these things are unrealistic body standards, but at the same time, I don't see you eating healthy, or I don't see you going to the gym. So I don't want to hear what you have to say about body standards, body positivity, all that stuff.
Yeah,
But
I think we'll talk more about that later on.
yeah. I
right?
want to keep talking about the Barbie movie. And there was a scene that I didn't like, where Ken was in the real world too, and he walked around and he's like, "Wow, in this world." So basically, in the Barbie movie, Ken is like a second-class citizen in a way, not in a
Yeah.
bad way. Well, I don't even know you could say that in that way, but he's not the center of attention. Basically, it's Barbie's world.
Okay.
Ken
Yeah.
is just there at the beach or whatever, but in the real world,
Does he just like chill?
yeah, he just chills.
Oh, okay.
He's with abs and stuff.
Okay.
In the real world, people are acknowledging him like, "Hey, sir, how are you? Do you have the time? Hey, can you help me with this? Hey, look, we have a library for this, blah, blah, this, that, and the other." And he's like, "Wow, people are acknowledging. It's awesome being a man here. People are acknowledging me." I have a problem with that scene right there because most men don't get acknowledged in the real world.
Yeah, that is true. Wow.
And so, that part of the message I disagree with, where Ken in the movie made it seem that the dude was getting acknowledged just for being a man, just because,
Yeah.
which is not true, which
No,
is
it's
totally not
not.
true. He's like, people ask me for the time, people just give me stuff, blah, blah, this and the other. It's like, okay, this is, whoever made this movie, this is their idea of how a man's life is in the real world, and it's not true. Most men are invisible. It's just what it. And from what I've seen, most men, for the most part, are invisible. Nobody's asking him. He's like, oh, people respect me just for being a man. That was kind of like the.
So how are they respecting him in the movie? Were they saying hi, how are you? Or
Yeah.
So they're greeting him.
They were acknowledging him and they were asking him questions like, "Do you have the time?" Blah blah blah. And he made it. They made it seem like.
But in that movie, did he already have like a role? Like did he come into the real world as a boss of a company or something?
No,
or?
he came as Ken. They just. That's the ridiculous part of the movie. Like that's like the part of the movie.
But
that's
in the
fun.
real world,
He was Ken.
Or I get
They
it.
left Barbie Land. They left. They
Yeah.
drove out of Barbie Land into like a different dimension.
Yeah.
And into the real world.
But when he landed in the real world, like who was he?
Ken.
The reason I say that is
He was just Ken. He didn't just show up like as a doctor. He was Ken and she was Barbie, and they were looking for the creators of Barbie and stuff like that.
okay.
It was
okay, okay.
the funny part.
So
of the
did he
movie.
look like
No.
abs and
Yeah,
all that
yeah,
stuff?
yeah.
Well, as you can see, like the same thing you were saying earlier, that just being a regular guy is not enough for someone to acknowledge you.
But they think the movie made it seem like that's what it was.
Or it could have been any person that came into the real world from like
yeah. And the thing is, it's like they were like, yeah, the patriarchy is awesome. Like Ken saying, like the patriarchy is awesome. People just giving stuff. It's like, no, dude, come on, man. That doesn't help. That doesn't help the discussion between the sexes. And then there was the lady, one of the ladies in the movie. She went on a whole tirade about how she feels like she's not good enough, and that all the standards that society has for her, and she feels like some of them are unfair, and then the people, blah blah blah, and she was just going on and on and on and on, and I was like, okay, this is probably seems to be the point of the
and
movie.
when Barbie entered that world, the real world, how was she treated?
They weren't really.
I would think she would get the same thing, the same acknowledgement. You know what I mean? Because
So there was a scene where the guys were all catcalling
Yeah.
her. And,
Oh, they were catcalling her?
Yeah, they were like, hey, this and the other. You know what I mean? The typical stuff, right? But
Yeah.
I think the point of the movie was when that lady was, not Barbie, but some other lady, she went on this huge tirade, just whole rant about the struggles of being a woman in today's society and, all that stuff. And I'm not discounting it. I don't know what you go through as a woman, but I think that was the point of the movies. They wanted to air out that grievance. It wasn't a man bashing film like I thought it was gonna be. I mean, some people might have done some different analytics and like, oh no, look what they say here. They're trying to make it seem this, that, and the other. But there were parts of the movie where they try to make it seem that men do have it easier just for being men. Like Ken just showed up, and I think somebody somewhere
He just showed up with abs and
Yeah.
the way he looked and everything, or
yeah, exactly. And then somebody somewhere within the screenwriting part of the movie must have been like, oh wait, let's just add this to kind of balance it out.
Yeah.
They showed Ken going to the hospital and be like, hey, can I get a doctor's outfit? And they're like, no. Like, why? He's like, because you're not a doctor. Like, but I'm a man. She's like, okay, but you're not a doctor. They were trying to make it seem.
Yeah.
They're trying to make it seem that he thought he can get that just because he was a man. It's like, no. You know what I mean?
no,
But
I get you. Yeah, so at least they had a part where it's like, hey, yeah, you're a man, but there's certain occupations
they try to be as
that both women and men have to work at, right?
right.
To
There were,
become something.
exactly, and there were certain parts where they were trying to come across as impartial, but they were just like stupid messages. Like Ken was like, "Hey, I thought this patriarchy stuff, is that active in this business?" And then one of the guys was like, "It's still active, but we just hide it a lot better." Like, come on, bro. Like, please, man. And it gets me annoying because are there men who are sexist? Yeah. Are there women who are sexist? Yes.
I mean, the real world is sexist.
Yeah, and
the way it is.
But and when we talk about jobs and stuff like that, people are like, well, men get hired over women or jobs discriminate against women. Well, it's not just people discriminating against women. I don't know if you saw the AI where it was filtering applications, and AI heavily favored men over women.
Shit, I haven't seen that.
Yeah, but and I'm assuming it wasn't because they were men over women. It's just if you look at the numbers, right?
Yeah.
It seems that women take more days off. And this, again, I'm not bashing. It's not a bashing thing. But according to the numbers, men work longer hours. Men do more dangerous jobs. If men have family, they tend less likely to not leave the job. They tend less likely to work harder and work for promotions and stuff like that. Because the well-being of the company is tied to the well-being of their job, which is tied to the well-being of their family. So all that stuff, you know what I mean? So the Barbie movie was not so much a man-bashing film as it was just women airing out what was bothering them. I thought I was gonna get lectured to in that movie about, whatever women this and women that and women this and women that. But,
Yeah.
I mean, there was some of that, but it was just more. It was just more of that.
Okay. So it wasn't that bad then.
It was. You're gonna have to watch it.
I heard it was funny. Was it funny?
It wasn't a bad movie, bro. To be honest, it wasn't a. Would I watch it again? No. Would I watch it of my own volition? No. I watched it because my wife wanted to watch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was a pretty good movie actually.
Okay.
Like it was. It seemed like it was thought out in terms of like making it fun,
Yeah.
but it wasn't really a kids movie.
Oh, okay.
It wasn't.
I
It wasn't a complete kids movie.
I heard about that. Yeah, that you shouldn't take your kid to see that movie.
Not if they're too young. I'd take like.
Why? Was there any like?
I'd take my 15-year-old daughter to watch it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I want to take my 8-year-old daughter.
Got it.
You know what I mean? But I find it funny because it's like most of the people, like some of the men on YouTube, they're making it seem like it's like the most anti-male movie there is, and I'm like, did I miss something?
Yeah. See, I haven't seen the movie yet. So
Yeah.
I was thinking the same thing based on the highlights that I saw.
Yeah, I thought it was just gonna be but it
So it wasn't.
it was like, did I miss something in the movie? Did I not like? Am I missing something now in how I'm looking at it?
Was there a part in the movie where like Ken, now that he's in the real world, he goes back to Barbie Land or something?
Oh, yeah,
and he
okay,
tries to
yeah.
take over or whatever.
Yeah, he does. He does take over. All the
Okay.
Kens take over, and they they remake Barbie Land in their image and stuff like that, and they have all the girls serving them and like being waitresses to them.
Wait, so I have a question. Was Ken doing the same thing? Like before that, when Ken was like just chilling, was was he serving Barbie?
No.
and doing all
He
these
was
things?
just trying to get Barbie's attention, and Barbie kind of wasn't paying him no mind. Type.
Oh,
She was like,
okay.
he was like, "Can I sleep over?" And then she was like, "Nah, next time or whatever." Type of, it was stuff like that. But yeah, the Kens take over. Obviously, you're gonna make a movie about women like this. The guy's gonna be the bad guy. I wasn't. Maybe I just wasn't surprised. Maybe I walked in like, okay, of course they're gonna do that. Kens were the bad guys, and then they tricked the Kens into fighting each other.
Oh really?
Which is what they do kind of in real life.
What the?
They trick the men into fighting each other, And then when they fight each other, you know, the Barbies somehow take control of Barbie Land, and then they're like, Ken, you know, it doesn't
So they
have
manipulated the guys and then they
fight each other.
Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they weren't gonna fight the Kens, right? Let's be honest.
Yeah.
And they're like, Ken, it doesn't have to be Barbie and Ken. It could be, it's Barbie and it's Ken.
Yeah.
You know, I guess that was the message. Like, hey, we don't need to depend on each other to complete who we are as people.
Yeah.
Like, that's what it looked like they were trying to go for. It was more of that than it was like Men Bad film. You know what I mean?
Okay, so that's good, man. It had an overall good message. Huh?
But again, that's some people might analyze it in a way that I'm gonna be like, oh, I didn't even think about that, or I didn't look at it that way.
Yeah.
Of course, they had themes of, oh, the patriarchy is keeping women down in the real world, and men, it's easy being a man. You get acknowledged for being a man. And some lady in the movie was like, I have feelings and I can express them and still be logical. Like, all right, that's what you call red meat, right? You give red meat to your part of your audience members.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So there was that. But overall, it was, you know what I mean? It was okay. I wouldn't watch it again though.